What's up, everybody? Big Herc916, and tune into another edition of my vlog. Want to say thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for your support. You know I'm all about that positivity and that motivation. I also want to say subscribe, support the Patreon. Over there I give you the freaky tales, raw and uncut, uncensored. But over here I keep you laced up. And one of my viewers said that free to think always makes a person free. And I thought about that, and they were absolutely right. Um, we all have the ability to think on our own and to make our own choices and to create our own reality, but yet we want to put blame or not accept responsibility for maybe shortcomings we've had in life, and then justify our anger or hatred. Now, we all know we're not the only, everybody's been through something that's maybe challenging, unless you were, like I said, you're a trust fund kid, or you're somebody whose family is just uber rich, and you never had to work in your life. But if you've had to, go out and get a 9 to 5, mow lawns, sell brownies and candy bars at school, hustle bicycle parts or shoes, you've had challenges economically, but you thought and you looked for ways that you could still profit, that you could still excel. I've seen where an inventor in Africa who had very limited resources was taking Teslas that were wrecked and rebuilding them. I mean, dude, this guy, he had no formal university education from the United States, and this guy's building Teslas. They had a kid over there who built like a mini generator out of just broken electronics parts. I mean, these people who are creating these things, who have just the most, some of their conditions of living are just horrendous, man. Very limited resources, and yet they're thriving. They're still creating, man. They're still thinking. So when you sit back and want to pity party your own situation, what's your excuse? What's your excuse, man? What's your excuse when some of these people who have undergone like just ethnic cleansing and other situations, and then they rose to create their own business, and then laid the foundation for their family, and now they're doing well for themselves? What excuse do you have? What are you using? I mean, you could be mad at somebody else because they have more than what you have, but yet you think that you're owed more. Then why aren't you doing more? You have the ability to think too. There's a million things you could think about, and most of the stuff that people are making money off is not nothing that's never been done before. It's just putting their own twist on it. So if you can take away a lot of the negative distractions you have clouding your ability to see other opportunities, maybe you would be able to think and find ways to attract that which you desire, put the right vibrational pattern into the universe. But you have thinking is free. It doesn't cost you anything to think. I used to lay on my bunk, USP Lawn Park, man. The castle is a dungeon, a horrible place, and just think and think and think. Why did I do that? Why did I rob the bank? What could I have done different? Why did I, choose to socialize with these individuals? Why couldn't I have done this? What would I be doing if I was free right now? And I used to just pound my brain, man, and beat myself up. And yet I never settled for my surrounding environment. And even though there was so much tension in the air, I always thought about the positive. What can I take from this experience? How can I use this experience and make myself stronger and come out of this successful, so I can still be my own boss and not have to just accept whatever's, you know, handed to me in life. And that's what I did. I first worked on my mind, clearing my mind of all the bullshit. One thing I didn't do was go around telling war stories or embellish just violent acts, things that fed into my current predicament, my current situation. I didn't engage in that, man, and it ostracized me from a lot of people because they felt like, oh, you're better, you think you're better than everybody else, or you think you're this, you think you're that, because I didn't participate. But I knew that in order for me to generate the right energy to do positive in life, I couldn't embrace those actions, man, because it wasn't good. I had to change that, and I changed it in a very dark place, but I had free will to think, and that's what I did. I just really pushed my mind. Did a lot of reading, worked out every day, kept my body right, decompressed through exercising, meditation. But one thing I never let them take away in there was my ability to think. And, people say, well, penitentiary, rehabilitation, jail, recidivism. The thing is, you have to want to make a choice. You have to want to make a choice better for yourself. And, being caught up in a group, forced to go along with things that don't necessarily benefit you, put you in a position to where you can compromise your best interests. So I chose to not participate in these big group type settings and focus more on how I could, grow and elevate myself, because at the end of the day, most of these people I would never see again. 99%, I would never have another conversation with them. So why would I invest all this time into hanging out with them in this penitentiary if I'm not learning from them or growing with them, or they're growing with me? So I had to think. And, it offended a lot of people, man, but most of all, it benefited myself, because at the end of the day, I have to live with myself, and these people aren't going to put food on my table when I get out, and they're not going to do anything for me on the street. So you're not going to trick me into doing something that's going to get me caught up, and you go about your life, and then I'm stuck dealing with the consequences. And that's what happens on the street. A lot of people are not thinking for themselves. They're allowing images on videos, things they hear in social media, all this other stuff to control their narrative. And the ability to think has been, I don't know, through manipulation, taken away to a degree. But you can't really take it away. You could just trick a person into relinquishing the action, but you can always think, and it doesn't cost you anything. So, it's one of the most powerful things we have in our tool chest. Things that we can utilize to help bring us to new heightened levels of awareness and success. But most of the people out there are not using their ability to think. They're just being led. They're following everything somebody else tells them. They're not questioning. They're not seeking the highest truth. And that's the downfall, man. I live by this, and I used to always tell people, man, that I'm just passing through the penitentiary. I'm passing through. I didn't buff my floors. I didn't polish my sink. I wasn't trying to, be all I could be in there. I was just trying to do enough to get the hell out of there and be all I could be when I got free, so I could, elevate myself to a level where I never went back to a place like that. And that's keeping it 100. Big Herc916.